labor and stuff? Or?
Yeah, of course. You got guys working at the building, cutting grass and cleaning up every day, and and cleaning toilets. So it gets tough, it gets dirty too. So, but I mean, they earn their pay, and I respect guys who can do that.
James, what is this defense going to be like in your mind? Sum it up.
Defense is going to have a lot of attitude to it. I believe it's going to have a lot of urgency, a lot of running to the ball, a lot of big hits, a lot of guys celebrating with each other. Just a bond of brothers going after it on the field day in and day out.
The issue last year when they had the concussion last year with Shea Morris and all, the Big Ten's changing this year and going to have new protocol for that. Do you think, as a player, do you think that's a good idea to have more oversight, guys looking out for you?
I believe that's a great idea. I mean, for players, if you get hurt or something, it's human nature not to want to come out, but you would need that, like, for them to put that plan in. It's going to help you in the long run, and I feel like you might not agree with it right now at this point, but you're going to agree with it later on in life if that help you, or something was really wrong and they helped you out in a certain situation. And I feel like that's definitely necessary for today's game.
So were you guys following Coach May after he got hired as eagerly as the rest of us have? I mean, he shows up one week at
well, I don't think we have a choice.
Camp.
It kind of like pops up on our feed everywhere, but he's been in the tabloids, and he's definitely been very popular. But like I say, I speak for those guys who's been working as hard as they have in Ann Arbor. We've been putting a lot of work in, a lot of time in the weight room with Coach Tolbert and on the field and conditioning. That's our main thing. That's what we're focusing on. Like today, this is different. We're in the media, but that normally doesn't happen. We're usually working out or doing on 7-on-7s with the team.
So is he as entertaining in private as he tends to be with these things?
He can be. It varies. He's a great coach, and what I respect about him is he's been successful as a player and as a coach. And for a guy that you see been successful both ways, you just soak up every bit of knowledge that he has to offer, and then he brings intensity every single day. And you want to run through a brick wall for him.
What's the craziest thing that he's said or done during this offseason?
Well, what caught me off guard was the first day. Of course, he came out with the traditional khakis and the long sleeve with the hat. But when we were on the field, I was thinking he was just going to be, just coaching, doing it. But I seen him with cleats on, and then we were conditioning, and he actually ran a 60-yard shuttle for us. Like, he demonstrated the whole thing. It was guys that's hurt on the side that have to do push-ups and crunches and all that type of stuff, and he came over there and did them right with us. And just for a guy who was sweat with us right alongside us, coach us, you have a lot of respect for a person like that.
What kind of shape is he in?
Come on, we've seen
great
pictures.
shape. Great shape. But no, yeah, all right.
Hey, guy on the other side of the ball, Ty Isaac.
Yeah.
How much have you seen from him so far? What kind of potential are we talking about?
Ty Isaac is a pretty good talent. He's he wasn't able to play last year, of course, but I spent a lot of time with him. He was on the scout team with us, and he showed us a lot of good looks. And he had potential to be a great player.
Is he as big? I mean,
Yeah, he's pretty big, and he's pretty fast also. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does this camp.
Talk a little about the guys up front, the defensive linemen that showed well in spring ball.
Well, those are my best friends, of course, because they make my job a lot easier. You got Willie Earl Henry, you got Monet, you got Mo Hurst, you got Chris Wormley. I can keep naming names, but those guys are great, and they've worked very hard this offseason and made a lot of gains and got a lot stronger, and that helps me out. And when you're able to demand a double team in any phase of wherever you're at, that helps the linebackers tremendously, and that makes the defense a lot better. And when you're able to get after the passer, it helps. And those guys are definitely a big part of our defense.
How much will it help this defense that they've all been out there and really know what they're doing now?
It helps us a lot. I mean, I feel like everybody's had a pretty good amount of experience, especially from the linebacker core, Jared Wilson at the safeties position, and, the Willie Earl at the D tackle. It just helps everybody out, and just for us to know, we know what's going to happen. We know what's expected, and we know, what to look for in certain games. It helps a lot, and you get prepared, and it's a type of confidence.
James, you were surprised
about Coach Tolbert. What's the biggest difference in the strength and conditioning program?
I feel like the one thing that Coach Tober stressed this offseason was like kind of like ownership on our stadium. Like we worked out at our stadium a lot. We ran stadium stairs, and it definitely hurt. But it was like we were bleeding and sweating in this stadium. It's our stadium, and we have to take pride about it and not let anybody walk in here and do whatever they may please and not come out with a fight. If we lose, we're going to lose, and you're going to feel it. You're going to feel us, and that was the biggest thing about it. And I feel like a lot of guys received that well, and a lot of guys are can't wait to play at home. Can't wait to see all those fans, 100,000 plus. So we're excited.
James, are you guys surprised at how much attention there is about Coach Harbaugh and by extension Michigan and then by extension the Big Ten?
Well, when he first took the job and was here in January, I didn't know how much of a celebrity he really was as far as like he was on Saved by the Bell and things like that. And when it started to roll, I mean, now knowing him, I can expect that. But in the beginning, I really didn't know, and it kind of like overwhelmed me a little bit. But once I got used to it, I know that he does that. But he's not a guy who thrives on me. He don't have to have that. But it's just he's a funny guy, so people want to talk to him, and I understand that. So.
James, is it weird at all that you guys aren't playing Notre Dame this year?
Weird? I wouldn't say weird. I mean, we pretty much focus on that next opponent. I don't look at the whole schedule and think like, man, we don't have Notre Dame later in the week. Or we really just focus on Utah, and that's the biggest thing. Or whoever opponent faces us, that's the most important game.
Is there any disappointment, though, that you don't get a shot at redemption with the way you guys lost to them last year?
I don't think it's like it doesn't matter because if we win all our games, that means nothing, you know what I mean? So I just want to win, and as being a senior, that's the most important thing is we want to go out on top.
Speaking of Utah, obviously that's a tough one on the road. How crucial is it to try and set a tone as a good road team right off the start?
It's very crucial. It's to start your season off. I mean, I feel like that first game is how your season is going to go. I mean, you got to go all out. You've been expecting to play this game for so long, and it finally gets here, and it's just time to let it loose. And I feel like we got the right guys to do it.